Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Worship Drumming. This is the place to learn some of the most popular worship songs on the drums. And if it wasn't obvious by the title of the video or by the shirt I'm wearing, today's tutorial is going to be over God's Not Dead by the Newsboys. So I'm going to go ahead, lift the camera, and we'll get into this tutorial. This song is an awesome song, and it's a relatively easy song to play also. It gets a little complicated around the pre-chorus and the bridge, but really it's not that bad, and you guys will be able to learn this in no time. So starting off, the drums are going to intro the song with all the other instruments, and all the drums are playing is just the beat of 3 and the beat of 4 on the floor tom and snare drum at the same time. So it's 3, 4, and then you're crashing as you go into that chorus. Or not the chorus, as you go into the intro, it's pretty much the instrumental. And the instrumental that we're going to play here, the reason I said the chorus, because it's also used in the chorus, the instrumental that we're going to play here is used for a lot of the song. So it's going to be on open hi-hats, and it's just going to be eighth notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Our kick drum is going to play the 1, the 3, and the and of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then your left hand is going to fill in with the backbeats on 2 and 4 on the snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's just that basic beat everyone learns when they first start playing drums, just adding a kick drum on the and of 3. I want to talk about the fill that we're going to play a lot here, and it's really going to end a lot of our sections, and it's going to be played during the chorus sometimes. And all it is you're playing 4E and on the snare. So the entire beat of 4 is played with 16th notes on the snare drum. And so that's how you're going to end the intro. And really, you'll feel whenever it's coming. So it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and Notice how my right hand, or my dominant hand, that usually leads into the crash cymbal, is coming down first to hit the snare drum. So that will be a nice even 4 E and now my right hand's raised to go ahead and hit the crash cymbal and start the next part. I'm going to go ahead and plug it up for you guys. We'll start talking about the verse and the choruses. Make sure you really have that beat down, because that is going to be, like I said earlier, the main part of this entire song. Next, after that intro, they go into sort of the first half of the first verse, is what I like to call it. All it is just a 4 on the floor with your kick drum. So all it is you're just keeping time on your kick drum, playing quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once those lyrics end, then they go back into that instrumental that we were just playing. And you'll play that, and then you're going to go into the second half of the first verse. And so what we're playing here now is we're playing exactly what we did on the instrumental, but now we're just going to close the hi-hat, and we're not going to add that 4E and on the snare as often as we did in the intro. I'll go ahead and plug it up for you guys, and let me go ahead and run over everything one more time from the start to the end of this first verse. So after we get out of the intro, it's 4 on the floor with the kick, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the instrumental. Then after the instrumental, we're playing the same beat, just on a closed hi-hat, and then we're going to get into the pre-chorus. So let me go ahead and plug this up for you guys so you can see how it's supposed to sound. So verse 2 is played the same as verse 1, or the ending there of verse 1, where it's the closed hi-hats, kick drum on 1, 3, the and of 3, and snare drum on 2 and 4. So let me break that down for you guys one more time, because I know I kind of said all that real fast. So it's just that simple 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're getting into the pre-chorus, and the pre-chorus is where things get a little bit more complicated, but we need to learn this because we're going to play this for the pre-chorus, and also we're going to play it for part of the bridge. The pre-chorus is going to be 2 bars instead of 1 bar like we've been playing. Now we're playing 2 bars of music and looping it. Also, it's in a halftime groove. If you don't know what halftime is, I'll break that down for you guys real quick. So halftime is usually we're playing quarter notes or eighth notes. In this instant, we're playing quarter notes with our right hand. Kick drum's going to land on 1 like it always does. But now our snare drum is going to land on 3 and only 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a basic, real quick rundown of what halftime is. And so now when we're playing this, it's made up of 2 bars. And so let me go ahead and tap it out for you guys, and then we'll really break it down and get into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. So let's go ahead and break this down bar by bar, beat by beat. Quarter notes are going to stay over here on the floor tom for the whole thing. Kick drum on 1, snare drum on 3 for the first bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're just going to add a high tom on the end of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Next, our kick drum's going to hit the 1 because we're going into the second bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So that's how the first bar is played into the second bar. Now let's go ahead and break down the second bar a little bit more. Our mid tom here is going to play the and of 1, and then our kick drum is going to play by itself the and of 2. So the second bar is 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So the snare drum's still falling on 3, and our right hand is still keeping the quarter notes over here. So once again, that second bar is 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Let's go ahead and run through this one more time real slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. So let me go ahead and plug this pre-chorus up for you guys so you know how it's supposed to sound. So coming out of the pre-chorus into the chorus, we have that little bit of a pause there, and that pause is for 2 bars long. So in our heads, we're just counting to 4 twice. And so this is going to happen 3 different times through the song, and 2 of the times the drums will play something, and 1 of the times the drums will not play something. The first time, the drums are just going to play a flam on 3 and 4 of the second bar. So the first bar will be completely empty, and then on beats 3 and 4 of the second bar, we're just going to play 3, 4 on the snare drum. If you don't know what a flam is a primary note followed by a secondary note. Pretty much your dominant hand's going to hit the drum first, followed by your weaker hand, and your weaker hand hit is not going to be as hard as your dominant hand hit. Instead of us playing together with our hands, it will be offset a little bit, and it will be like instead of. So we're just going to play that on beats 3 and 4. So in our head we're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, chorus. The second time this happens, we're going to play our floor tom. And our floor tom will be played on beats 2 and 4, except the last beat of 4, we're going to take it out and we're going to play the snare drum. First bar would be 1, 2, 3, 4. The second bar would be 1, 2, 3, 4, E, and a chorus. So once again, it's just the floor tom on 2 and 4, and then the second bar, it will be on beat 2, but then the second bar, beat 4, will play 16th notes on the snare drum, will play 4, E, and go into the chorus. Last time this pause happens, which is between the bridge and the last chorus, there is going to be nothing played by the drums. We're just going to crash in on the chorus really powerful with all the other instruments. I want to talk a little bit about the chorus now. So the chorus is played exactly what we've been playing in the instrumentals and everything. It's just 8th notes on our hi-hat, snare drum on 2 and 4, kick drum on 1, 3, and the and of 3. But I want to give you something a little extra to spice this up, to make it different from those instrumentals. But while you're playing the chorus, you're still going to play that 4, E, and fill, but now let's throw a lot of little fills in there. We don't have to throw a lot of these in there. It's just a good thing to throw some of these in there. And you'll notice that it does sound pretty cool when you throw these in there. And it's a small, simple little fill that I'm sure a lot of us have played. It's called the Debbie fill if you've never heard of it. But let me go ahead and show you exactly what it is. So on beat 4 is just going to be the and of 4. So while you're playing, so you're going 3 and 4 and up. So your left hand will hit the snare drum, and then there's going to be a little pause as your right hand is coming down to hit the snare drum, so it's going to be 4 and up. So playing from beat 3, 3 and 4 and and then you just got to crash, and you don't necessarily have to crash. Sometimes you can just do that and then go right back up here to the hi-hats. Really just be creative with it and do what you want. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this up for you guys, and I'll show you the different ways that you play into the chorus, and then I'll just start playing the groove of the chorus, throwing some of those little and fills in there. And then we'll talk about the bridge and wrap all this up. Now, the last thing we have to learn here is the bridge, and the bridge is pretty simple because we've already played some of it and it's not too hard. The lyrics for the bridge will loop 3 times, and every time the lyrics loop back around to the start, the drums are going to play something different every time. So the first time the lyrics are being sung, what's going to happen is the drums won't play anything. And if you want to, I encourage you to be creative and just kind of come up with something to play, probably something on the cymbals. So you can just keep time on your ride cymbal, you can keep time with your left foot, maybe add some swells in there. It doesn't really matter, and you don't have to play anything if you don't want to. So, I mean, I'm just giving you the option that, you know, just because they play it a certain way doesn't mean you have to do it that exact same way. You can be a little creative and go off a little bit from what they do. Next, when the lyrics loop back around, so this is the second time the lyrics are coming around, we're going to play our floor tom and snare drum on all the 8th notes. And it's going to be real light. It's no like huge big hits. It's just literally 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just keeping a nice light hit on those, giving it a nice shaky feel to the groove. Getting those real low rumbles out of that floor tom is really nice to have here. And so you're just playing all those 8th notes. And then a cool thing to do as you go into the last thing is kind of crescendo this. And this is just something I came up with while I was playing at my church. I was like, as we started to go into the last loop, I was like, oh, if I threw a crescendo in here, it'd sound really cool. If you don't know what crescendo is, so if you're just playing those light notes like you were earlier, you're just going to gradually make those louder as we go into the last little loop we're going to do here. So it'd be like... So yes, you do want to crash this time, so as you're coming out into the last section of what you're going to do, definitely crash as you're going into this last part of the bridge, because the bridge is really going to need it. So now for the bridge, we're just playing what we did earlier for the pre-chorus. And one more refresher on that. So the first bar is 1, 2, 3, 4, and. The second bar, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So once you get that down, it'll sound something like this. Thank you so much everyone for watching this video, and I'm sorry that I haven't been posting videos like I said I would. When I first started this channel and some of my previous videos, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make this video and I'll make it on this day and it's gonna be awesome. But the thing is I did not realize just how much time and effort really goes into making these videos. And now I could just kind of like try to quickly throw together a video and then just put it out there, but I really want you guys to have the best quality learning experience. I'm still gonna make the videos that I've talked about using EZdrummer and some different things of me just maybe just playing some freestyle, show you guys kind of what goes through my head whenever I'm playing, and have some more songs lined up for you guys. But I'm just finally glad that I'm getting this video out. So go ahead, leave a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Don't forget to subscribe below if you're interested in more content like you saw today. And I will see you guys in the next video.